Hey guys, it's homerjnick here once again. I was the one that created a video showing the exploit in Seasons on console for Diablo 3, where you could get primals far easier and quicker. That bug report was given to Blizzard and they said that they were aware of it. And given that that was the biggest exploit to date in Seasons on console for Diablo 3, we all thought that Seasons were relatively safe because that exploit, while it gives you an advantage, is very time consuming and the leaderboards don't really reflect it being abused that much, or so we think. So we thought that that was the only exploit in Seasons, and sadly that's not the case. With 2 weeks to go, I found out that you can duplicate anything in Seasons. And this was reported to Blizzard early on in the season, but it's been kept under wraps, and that was good, so that by far the majority of players played legit. But I'm going to now detail the exploit and how you can duplicate anything in Seasons. And the reason why I want to do that is I want Blizzard to fix it for Season 11. Season 11 is going to be hugely important. Lots more players are going to be coming back to Diablo for Season 11 because of the Necromancer DLC, which we're pretty sure is going to be in the next patch and ready for Season 11. And so therefore there can be no exploits in Seasons on console, otherwise what's the point in producing leaderboards and not playing on a level playing field? I hope they fix the exploit of my last video that I made, which I'm going to put a link in the description of this video. That exploit, if you remember, or if you go and watch the video, was upgrading rares to legendaries, reforging in the cube till you got primals, and if you didn't get primals you can close the game down, get all your materials back and try again, crafting more yellow rares. And of course we all thought that that's how people on the leaderboards were getting all their gear. If you go to this guy, he's got near enough full primals with augments all in the 90s. And I presumed that he was using the exploit that I mentioned in my last video with upgrading rares. I don't think he is. I think he's been duplicating. Because duplicating in Seasons can be done. You can duplicate anything. Now, duplicating gear doesn't make much sense because I can't trade with people. I can't give my gear to anybody, and there's no point in duplicating it for myself. But the duplicating of crafting materials and gems offers a huge advantage. It means I can play in the cube all day and reforge gear until they are primals. It means I can take a legendary gem and duplicate it and then use that for all 13 slots for augments and make my character very big and very strong. And so the reason why I'm releasing this to the public, the reason why I want to make the video detailing the exploit and how to duplicate in Seasons, I'm not being a dick about this. Many people will be upset, oh, why did you not just let Blizzard know about it and then not tell anybody? Well, if I do that, then they might not fix it for Season 11, and then people invest their time and energy and their lives into Season 11 and they're not facing legit competition. I've got people in my friends list who are upset that they're not in the top 10 leaderboard because everybody above them has got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 primals. Obviously they're cheating. PC players don't have anywhere near that amount of primals. And there's far more PC players than there are console players. And so if we get the information out in the public, if people know how to duplicate, how the exploits work, they can then bitch about it and cry about it, and then Blizzard have to fix it. They have to fix my previous exploit video with the upgrading rares. They have to fix this duplication of anything in Seasons. So how do you do it? Well, it's very simple and very straightforward. let me detail just the anti-cheat mechanism that Blizzard has put in place. If 2 players are in town, either local co-op or online with your friend, and you drop your gear on the town, and you close the game without saving, and rejoin your same person, your buddy, the gear's gone. The gear that you dropped is gone. Blizzard have programmed it so that it's gone when you come back. And so we all thought that you couldn't duplicate that way. And that is true when you're sitting in the town. So, how do we duplicate things? Well, what I'm going to do is grab my wife's character, and she is going to come into the game.
A new recruit has joined my party.
Here she is.
My
Level 1.
foes gain strength.
Level 1 character. All she's got is worn knuckles. So what we do, we take my character, and we just open up a rift. And we go into the rift together. Now I don't control second player at the moment, but when my player 1 goes in the rift, obviously player 2 has to follow because I'm playing co-op.
Prove yourself worthy of your birthright.
So then, the player who wants to duplicate, which is player 2, which will be this account here, this is the one that will duplicate. The person who hosts the game can't duplicate, it's the person who joins duplicates. What they do is they drop their gear in a rift. There is my worn knuckles. I then grab my player 1, the person who's hosting the game, and we come back out. Notice that the co-op player has to follow. Now, the key part, I now take the second player, the person who's dropped the gear in a rift, I hold down my middle PS4 button, I click on power, I click on
Lose some of their strength.
the player is now logged off. I am now alone again in my session. But that didn't save for player 2. It did not save them dropping that gear in the rift. So all I do again is rejoin with the same player. So that.
A new recruit has
Here we
joined
go.
my party.
So they've come back
My
into the
foes
same
gain
game.
strength.
I've still got my worn knuckles because the game didn't save when I signed out of my PSN account for the player 2. I then go back into the rift and look what's on the ground and look what I can pick up. Bang. I now have 2 worn knuckles. I have just duplicated that item. Just to show you, I wear that, I put that. That was me duplicating something earlier on. So the key for co-op is player 1 hosts, player 2 who joins is the one who wants to dupe stuff or duplicate stuff. Player 1 opens a rift up, goes in, player 2 has to follow in co-op, player 2 drops the gear they want to duplicate, then hold down the button, and on PlayStation you click on power and then sign out. On Xbox you do the same thing. You don't dashboard, but you sign out, and the game goes back to one player who hosts, and then you just rejoin with the same character. It hasn't saved you dropping your gear in the rift. You go back into the rift, and whatever Blizzard have programmed to delete things in town when you do this, it doesn't occur in the rifts, and the gear will still be there, and then you can just pick it up, exit the game properly so it's saved, and you have duplicated gear. You can do this for legendary gems, you can do it for any gear, you can do it for crafting materials, and effectively you're broken seasons by duplicating gear. This works also for online. Player 1 hosts, player 2 can join the game, player 1 goes into the rift, player 2 comes in, player 2 drops his gear in the rift, closes the game down, and then just rejoins. goes back into the Rift, and the gear is duplicated. Simple, straightforward enough. I'm going to do it one more time. Here I am, player 1, the host. Here is player 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop out so that it saves that I've got 2 of those weapons.
Strength.
There we go. We've come back. Yeah, I'm not interested in leaderboards, but I've still got my 2 worn knuckles. So we go back in, player 1 hosts, goes into the Rift. Player 2, the one that wants to duplicate, drops their gear. I'm going to drop 2 this time. Player 1 goes back out into town, takes player 2 with him. I then signed out of the game with my player 2, so I'm back to only 1 player in the game. I then will rejoin with the same character.
Has joined my party.
Back in the game. Still got my 2 worn knuckles weapons that I've duplicated already. Come back in, and lo and behold, 1, 2, I now have 4. I have duplicated in seasons. This is a seasonal characters. Duplication of items, well, if this was well known, this would have destroyed seasons early on. Thankfully it wasn't released early on. I'm releasing it now with 2 weeks to go. So 6 weeks to the start of season 11. That gives Blizzard enough opportunity to fix these problems. They said they possibly might announce something at the end of the season about any exploits found and if they're going to combat them. So that will be very interesting. But that's how you duplicate in seasons, guys. Make it known. Make sure Blizzard fix it for season 11. I'm out of here.